start. You have to go someplace. You have to get out. You have to find a place to go to. And I think part of being fit and finding what you want to do is finding that workout that you love. I am very passionate about Orange Theory. I'm very passionate about teaching spin at Studio Spin because those are two workouts that I do.
Yeah.
There's so many different options out there. You have to find what ignites your passion and what you enjoy doing. And I do believe that you can find a workout that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be drudgery or a task.
Well, I don't know how many people have a similar story to me, but when I was younger, when I was in high school, I was an athlete, and into college, I was an athlete. And I was in the gym and working out, the old school weightlifting, Schwarzenegger, pumping iron deal, sets of 10 and 3 sets of 10 and as heavy as possible. That's what they had us doing when we were teenagers in the late 70s and early 80s. And then I got older. I grew up, I stopped working out, stopped being athletic, got married, had a few kids, put on a lot of weight. My problem was that every time I went to the gym, it was like doing trigonometry in my head. I'm counting everything. I tried methodologies like Body for Life and all different kinds of stuff, and it was exhausting.
Yeah.
Just tracking it. What I really liked about Orange Theory at first was that you go in, you go work out, you go out. There's no locker room, there's no hanging out, there's no talking to people for 30 minutes of a 40-minute workout.
Right.
And I also like that I'm being told what to do as we're doing it. You establish a base pace, you move at that pace. You would go up to a push pace, you move at that pace, and you're there, and the other coaches who are equally as inspiring as you are, maybe not quite as much, but but they're amazing, and they tell you what to do, and you do it.
Yeah. And that's a huge thing. A lot of the big box gyms, which I'm not knocking them, you have to find what you like. The majority of people that pay for those memberships don't use them because you have to go and figure out what you're supposed to do. Orange Theory is as popular as it is in a place like a single Studio Spin because you don't have to think about it. You come in. It's supposed to also be a release. There's a huge mental component of working out. It's not just about getting physically stronger. There's mental strength and a mental release that most of us need for 1 hour out of the day. And it's great just to walk into a place and have somebody guide you and tell you what to do. You're still doing the hard work. You just don't have to figure out what piece of it to do.
Yeah, I agree. I am a practitioner of Orange Theory and a believer. I did lose a lot of weight. I lost 35 pounds.
Amazing.
So far. And still going. But weight loss has become a secondary issue to me. Being healthy really has taken over as the primary issue.
Yeah.
Now, I have just a straight up question for you. Is it true, because I read this somewhere online, that gyros and cheese fries are not a healthy choice?
That would fall under the true category.
I can't believe it. It's hard for me to believe.
I'm sorry, Marcus.
If you're out there listening and you think gyros and cheese fries are a healthy choice, give us a call at 773-763-9278. So that's the hard part for me. It's eating.
Yeah.
Eating versus exercise. So which is more important? If I want to get healthy, get fit, maybe lose some weight, which is the key? Is it the eating? Or is it the exercise?
Honestly, I have to say both because you have to find balance, but you can't, the saying is you can't out exercise a bad diet. It really is about 80% of what you need to do. And I say it to my members all the time. I know at my spin studio, both I say it, the owner, Julie, says it all the time. You can't take us home into the kitchen with you. I'm here with you for 1 hour, coaching you, making you work hard, but I'm not going home with you afterwards and cooking your post-exercise meal or your dinner tonight.
Is that an option?
It might be.
Okay.
It might be. But that's a huge piece. Folks that come to me and say, help me, this isn't working for me. My first question is, what are you eating? And it's not asked as an insult. I want to know, what are you eating? What are you putting into your body?
Yeah, you and I have had that conversation, which led to me eating some kind of smoked jalapeno sauerkraut.
Yes.
But did you know Whole Foods no longer carries that?
Yes, I know. And I spoke to them about that.
I bought a jar of turmeric flavored sauerkraut, which is very good also.
Yes.
I'm currently eating that.
Yeah.
I mean, not at this moment, because we're on the show.
And you have to mention that you need to put it on eggs. Remember, that was my hot tip.
Yolk it up. Yolk it up. That's right. Okay. So eating is important. And we'll get into this a little more, but I really want to cover this one topic. Being skinny versus being healthy.
Two totally different things.
Yeah. So a lot of people want to lose weight.
Yeah.
80%. but not as many people are walking around saying, I want to be healthier. What's the difference between skinny and healthy?
Skinny isn't necessarily healthy. There's actually a saying that some folks use, we call it skinny fat, because just because you look skinny doesn't mean that you are fit or able to perform in a fitness setting. I think the one thing that I appreciate about the way that I think fitness and health has shifted and body image is I don't think skinny is in anymore. It might be for some people, it might be a goal they want to attain, but you should want to be the best, strongest, healthiest version of you.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Fit. You
Yeah.
said strongest, healthiest version of you. How do you judge fitness? How is that judged and measured?
How you feel and what you can do. I don't care what the scale says. In fact, one thing that I tell you is throw the scale away. The scale doesn't tell you how fit you are. It shows you one number that doesn't even tell you how much muscle mass you're holding. You want to get into body composition and what your body is made of, not what that number on the scale shows you. And it can fluctuate on a daily basis based on any number of factors, and people freak out about that number. There's a saying at Orange Theory, our slogan is more life, because it's about what can your workout do to enhance your life? How do you feel? Are you full of energy? Can you make it through the day without feeling fatigued? Can you get up that flight of stairs? Can you get out of your chair without that extra bit of help? Can you go on vacation and take a hike and finish the hike? Can you live your life?
Yeah, well, see, that's how I got involved, right? I travel for my personal vacations, and I went hiking in the desert, and I was suffering. I mean, suffering almost to the point where I spent all this money, traveled around the world. I had a guide. I'm hiking, and I can hardly function with the ups and the downs of it was in a desert mountain setting. And that's really what triggered me wanting to come see you at Orange Theory is I couldn't believe that when I reflected on that vacation, what I thought about most was the distress that I was in.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want that to be the case anymore. So I started out at Orange Theory just power walking, right? There's people, it's the worst when you have like 60-year-old women next to you running and you're an ex-athlete, ex-hockey player, and there you are power walking on an incline next to these women who are running and sweating. But it took some time, and I was able to get to the point where now I'm able to run on that. It's progress.
I mean, you make it every day. But it's your story about, the 1 hour in the gym is what we're asking. We're asking you to come in for 1 hour and work out. That's just 1 hour out of your day. What happens the rest of your day is what matters to me as a coach. And your story is one of many. I just had another member come to me last week and say she just got back from a trip out west with her husband, and they took a hike. They were in Arizona, and she's been telling him, you got to come to Orange Theory. And he was saying, I don't want to go. It's silly. She said, I finished the hike, no problem. He couldn't finish it. And they got to the end, and he was like, how did you do that? She said, this is why I told you have to start working out.
Fitness.
How do you live the rest of your life? We don't live in the gym. You live your life outside 23 hours the rest of the day.
Well, we don't live in the gym, but
I
you
live in the gym.
Okay, so let's, if you don't mind, let's talk about you for a second. You are incredibly energetic and supportive and an amazing coach. I am witness to that on a regular basis. What motivates you? How do you stay motivated? Because most people don't. Most people they're hitting it for a while, and then they start to fall off. But you're an example of somebody who just is able to manage 4 children, 2 different coaching jobs, some personal coaching when time permits. You're cooking, you're taking care of a household, everything. How are you staying motivated?
I'm a little bit competitive, which you might not have known about me. I'm competitive with myself. My natural personality is I always want to be better, faster, stronger. I look at other people, though. I'm 42. I can't stop the years from adding up. We can't stop getting older. But I do believe you can slow down the aging process. I look to other people ahead of me, and I know that I want to be like those people. I want to be strong and fit and healthy for the rest of my life. I am motivated by the people who come into my studio, who face challenges even much greater than I ever have, and they're kicking butt. And that inspires me to continue to push myself. For me personally, strength is a huge thing. I want to be the strongest woman I can possibly be. So I'm always picking up heavier weights. I have to be strong and healthy for my kids. They need me. I can't take care of the people in my life if I'm not taking care of myself first. And that's what I tell people. It's not being selfish. Take that 1 hour to go work out, because if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of everybody else in your life.
Well, they tell you on the airplane, if the masks come down, thank God
yourself
they've never
first.
come
Right.
down. On a flight that I've been on, I would panic and I don't know what would happen. But they say put your own on first before you help somebody else. Okay, so people come into your studio. I'm one of them, and then something happens, and they start making excuses about their eating, their agenda, their frequency. I'm sure that you've heard them all. Do you have a favorite excuse? Do you have one that makes you giggle?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I could pull one up right now. I'm sure I've laughed about many. Probably the most common one is time.
Time.
I don't have the time.
And you're
I've gotten
saying,
busy.
hey, it's just 1 hour.
It's 1 hour. You have to make it, you have to carve it out first and then plan your day around it. When there's a lot of people that say, that's ridiculous, I can't do that. Yes, you can. Even if you have to, you said you wake up at 5 a.m. every single morning naturally. I know it doesn't sound like fun. I'm up even earlier than that. It becomes a part of who you are. I get to see the sunrise every morning, and that's actually a beautiful thing. You do it first thing in the morning, or do it on the way home from work. Come in on at noon. You have to carve the hour out first and then plan your day around it. The amount of empowerment and energy that you derive from the workout actually powers you through the day unlike anything else. And whether it's the way you finish your day or you start your day, you are better that day because you worked out.
Well, I'll tell you, there was about a month ago, there was a rowing exercise, and I made a personal best. It's something like 13 seconds for, I don't even remember.
I remember
what
that
it was.
day. We have a picture
you
that
have
day.
A picture, yeah.
Yes.
I walked around for a week.
Yeah.
Being happy about that achievement. I don't even know what it was or what it means. I just know that I progressed and that it felt good. I was recognized.
That's the mental part of it that I try to explain, is that it feels really uncomfortable sometimes while you're doing it. Sometimes you wake up early, you're exhausted, or you're exhausted at the end of the day and you don't want to make it there. But it's those single moments of achievement that carry you. I'm actually thinking about a day coming up this next week. On Wednesday, we have the 1 mile challenge where you run as fast as you can for a mile. And this last time we did it in April, there were 2 folks that in one of my classes, both in their 40s, that had never run a mile before in their entire life. And it took them a little while to do it, but they finished a mile for the first time in their entire life. And I can't tell you how unbelievably empowered and excited. I actually cried. I was such a dork about it that I cried. And then we had a text string going around with the other coaches talking about those 2 members. I was crying while I was texting, because how empowering is that?
All right, it's amazing, and the fact that you guys care enough to be talking about people and shedding tears for them, although crying is not going to lend to your badass persona.
I do it in private all the time.
Okay. I won't tell anybody. Nobody's listening,
nobody knows my secret.
Okay, so Melissa, Orange Theory in Bannockburn, you are the head coach.
Yes.
And there's some amazing people there, people like Lindsay and Danny and Ellie, and JD, who owns the place.
Yeah.
His story is amazing. These people are incredible. Do you think that it's just a special place that has some overly incredible people, or are there people as inspirational as these people walking around everywhere?
They are everywhere. Part of it is that you have to take the time to get to know your folks. The one thing is we become a family. The people that you spend an hour working out with, sometimes 7 days a week, we become a little bit of a family. I might be a little biased, but I do think we have an amazing team. I've known Lindsay forever. She's an attorney. She's a mom. She's a fitness coach. Danny is one of the most outstanding people I've ever met. JD is an amazing entrepreneur. Megan is a mom and a fitness coach. We all have these multifaceted lives, but we come together under a shared passion for the workout, for making people's lives better, for trying to make ourselves better people. That shared passion, I think, partially lifts us up as a community and why we have such a special group.
Yeah, it's tucked away in the corner of what's called the Bannockburn Green.
Yep.
It's on the corner of Route 22, Half Day Road, and Waukegan, set back in the elbow and the crook of the elbow of that L-shaped mall. And it really is an unbelievable place. There are some people there that are so ridiculously fit that I'm almost embarrassed to be working out in the same room with them. But there are also people who are just starting today.
Yes.
And they're not the size and shape that they want to be, and they're not at the fitness level they want to be, but they're coming there with the idea. Now, the methodology at Orange Theory is worth talking about, right?
Yes.
It is heart rate monitored in interval training. Is
Correct.
That accurate?
Yes,
All
you
right,
wear
so
a monitor.
Tell us a little bit about this philosophy of exercise.
So I would say with that Orange Theory would tell you that we didn't create it, but we captured the science and we created out of that science really the best 1 hour total body workout, which is why it's now $1 billion company global all over the world, is because it works. Come in for an hour, you come out with a complete workout. Treadmills, water rowers, strength training on the floor. You wear a monitor the entire time, so you can monitor your heart rate, bring it up into those zones where you work in that anaerobic level to create that fat burning state. The science behind Orange Theory is that if you work in a certain number of minutes out of your hour, you leave with this post recovery state where your metabolism gets a boost. You get a boost in calorie burn for the next day and a half after. You burn an insane amount of calories in, but you get that post-exercise boost as well, which is the key. And interval training in and of itself, again, the science isn't new, but we've captured it and created an amazing workout around it. Interval training will keep you young. It is one of the best ways to burn calories, burn fat, strengthen your heart. We never talk about our heart. We always talk about the outside muscles and how we want to look, but you forget about what's going on inside, which is why you wear that heart rate monitor. I think that's one of the coolest things about the data, the science piece of Orange Theory, because we're so connected to our technology these days. Everyone wants to see the numbers. Not only you see your calorie burn, but you actually can see yourself becoming more fit. You can see how your heart strengthens in its ability to go up into those upper levels and recover right away. You've probably seen that yourself. You feel like you come in and you spend all your time in the beginning in those upper heart rate zones. You feel like you're going to die. And then you keep coming in and you see your heart getting stronger because you're recovering easier.
I love that and I hate that at the same time because that means I have to work harder. Melissa, I'm so grateful. Honestly, I'm grateful that you're here today and spending your time with us. I know you skipped a class and had to have somebody cover for you so you could be here.
That was my amazing Danny.
I appreciate that. And Danny, thank you so much for doing that. But and Orange Theory is not just in Bannockburn. It's all over the place in everywhere. There are people out there, I hope, who are thinking to themselves, I would like to be more fit. I would like to be in shape. I would like to be healthier, but they're afraid to get started. There's a barrier. They think they have to know something. They have to be able to do something or whatever. Can we talk about that for a minute or two? What does it take to get started at Orange Theory?
You walk in the door. That's all you have to do. You take a free class. You'll take your first class for free. And it's funny you made that comment because I had another member tell me just the other day that she wants to bring her husband in and he won't come in because he said he feels he has to get fit before he comes. No, that's not what needs to happen. You just either need to call or you need to walk in the door and we will get you into a class. And everyone does their thing in there. Nobody pays attention to what everybody else is doing. We make the comment about you feel like you're next to the person who's running at top speed on the treads, but everybody's in there just doing their thing collectively as a class with myself or any of the other coaches. But we're there to guide you to be the best you are in that class. You just have to walk in the door and we will take care of you from there. And then you're hooked because it's the feeling. We were talking about the concept of day one. You're so empowered on day one. You're like, I did this. I'm great. I'm going to get fit. We're here to help you continue to come. I will badger you. I bother you if I know you're not in class, right, Marcus? I ask you, where are you?
That's right. Day one mentality.
Day one mentality, but all the time.
We have just a minute here, so let's just talk about this. There are diets out there. Mm-hmm. There are cleanses. There's juice diets and all this kind of stuff, and people will lose weight on them. And then when they're over, it's hard to maintain that weight loss. But Orange Theory and fitness in general is a way of life.
It is.
And that seems overwhelming to people. But like you just said, and I just want to repeat it, you don't have to have a knowledge base. You don't have to have a physical level of fitness in order to get started at a program like Orange Theory. It just takes walking in the door.
That's it.
And saying, I really truly want this, and I believe that this place can help. The last thing I just want to ask you is this. If you were going to make one change to the fitness world, if you could make it more accessible for people, what would you tell people? How would you do that? How would you get more people to just get started?
I think visibility is one thing. Knowledge is another. Reaching people, talking to people, which is why I appreciate this platform today, because people are afraid to ask for help. Right? In general, I think with anything in life, folks are afraid to raise their hand and say, I need help doing something, whether it's exercising or figuring out how to eat or anything else. Know that you have on the other side, at least at Studio Spin, at Orange Theory in Bannockburn. I also coach at Northbrook. People that are here on the other hand with open arms telling you, we're here to help you. It's what we do, and it's what inspires us.
Melissa Ackerson, total badass. World's
badass,
greatest athletic trainer. Thank you so much for being on One More Good Idea. I hope people heard you, and I hope they'll come see you. If you want to get fit, if you want somebody to care about you, Orange Theory in Bannockburn, Illinois, and
Studio
Spin
Spin
in
in
Northfield,
Come and see
Illinois.
us.
Find Melissa, tell her you heard her on the show, and she will give you an extra special smile.
Thanks, Marcus.
All right, everybody,
I love
we're
you.
out to break. We'll be back in the Artist Lounge with Rick Vine soon. I love you too. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.